Hello everyone, my name is Rick van Bruggen from Neo, and tonight I want to show you something that I'm super excited about. It's been part of Neo4j 2.3 and afterwards, but I've only recently really started to look at it and in a little bit more detail, and I'm really excited about it. It's basically an extension of the Neo4j browser that we all know and love, right? So in the Neo4j browser, you have this capability to play certain things, right? So that, for example, you can say play concepts and it will take you through some of the fundamental graph concepts, right? You can say, okay, I want to go into code. All right, what have we got here? I've got the movie graph, and you can say play movie graph, and it takes you through the different steps that you can do in order to start playing around with the movie graph, right? So this concept of having this in-browser experience of learning things, sharing things with one another is really super exciting. And now we're extending this to make it available to everyone to extend their browser experience and make these guides themselves. Right, so I want to give you an example of that. How are we going to do this? Well, we're going to use a system that is very similar to what we've been using for the GraphGIST, right? So GraphGIST is this system where you can have all kinds of interactive graph models, interactively explained to you, based on an ASCII Doc document like this one, right? Which is rendered on the fly and basically allows you to explore cipher queries, graph visualizations, and everything very interactively, like this one over here, right? So I've got the Belgian beer graph, and I can start, looking around. All right, what have I got here? I can run queries interactively and see what the result is here. This is an example of a GraphGIST, which is, like I said, based on an ASCII Doc document, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the same system and we're going to create an ASCII Doc document that basically says, how are these guides going to be structured, right? So I've taken my Belgian beer GraphGIST and I've modified it a little bit and structured it in different parts, right? So there's a part here, there's a part there, different parts, right, with different links in it, different cipher queries in there, right? So in this ASCII Doc document, I'm going to then convert into a web page, an HTML page. The HTML page that needs to be structured in a certain way so that it can be displayed as part of the Neo4j browser. Now this web page we created in a certain way. I'll explain that a little bit later, but it's structured like this, right? So this is the web page which I'm serving from a local web server, right? So I'll take this URL here, right? Copy it and go to the Neo4j browser, and I need to configure the Neo4j server in a certain way, but again, I'll go into that later, and then I'll say, okay, play this particular web page, right? So this is the web page, and I'm just going to play it within the browser. What happens is, all of a sudden, I've got this gist-like experience within the Neo4j browser, right? So this is literally what I have, right? So it's playing the Belgian beer graph into the Neo4j browser. Hey, here we've got it, right? I can read all whatever is up there. I can look at some of the history links that I've included, right? So like the Wikipedia page with all of these Belgian beers that I started from. And I can just browse through it and see, okay, what's going on here, right? I've got the model that's explained, why is the model looking the way it's looking, right? And I've got the cipher queries to actually add these things to the database, right? Because I don't have anything in the database right now, and I can just pin this thing to the top, right? And then say, all right, execute that one, execute the next one, execute the next one, right? So there's 4 indices that I want to be adding, right? So if I check it now, I've got the indices nicely added, so I can go to the next page in my guide here. Next up is a load CSV command that adds all of the data to the Neo4j database. I'm going to run that and scroll down here because it's a little bit of a longer query. It takes a couple of seconds and it adds a few thousand nodes and relationships to the local database, right? This is what's happening right now. Most of that time is actually spent, querying the Google spreadsheet CSV file. I also want to be adding the in-graph index, the alcohol index that I use within this database, right? And now I should be all said and done, right? If I go to my browser here. You can see that I've got the alcohol percentages, the beer brands, everything's in there. And I can go to the next step in my guide here and start querying the beer graph. All right, let's see here. I can take a look at it. Right, take a look at this graph here. I can start exploring it interactively, whatever way I want it, right? Um, I can run some more queries, right? And then I can go to, this is Orval, this is one of my favorite beers. This is the new browser that allows us to expand this really, really easily, right? All right, I've got all of these things ready to go, all right? So very, very cool. And I can just go through the guide and look at some more complex queries, right? I'll take this one here. It's probably my favorite because it gives me a fantastic beer recommendation. Between Duvel and Orval, there's these two beers that share that beer type and the alcohol percentage, and that actually are really, really nice beers to take a look at. Right, so this is how it works. You can add these wonderful guides straight into the browser from a web server, right, from a very simply formatted web page, and all of a sudden you have this exciting new learning platform that you can have straight into the Neo4j browser. I'm really excited about this. I hope you are too. And in some future blog posts / videos, I hope to explain how this works to you in a lot more detail. Thanks a lot for watching this, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.